Surviving Reality contains explicit content full of snark and sarcasm that may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to Surviving Reality.
I'm Corey.
And I'm Carly, and we're back with another episode of Polyfamily. This is Season 1, Episode 4, Oh My Quad.
Oh My Quad, which maybe that's what Taya yells at any point when she cramps up on her nights with Tyler. She feels the burn, so to speak, in a couple different ways, I think.
That was going to be my opening joke, but thanks for stealing it.
Are you serious?
Yes, that's what Taya screams.
Oh my quad? Are you serious?
I'm assuming that's why they named this episode that.
They heard it through the door, and they were like, well, I guess that's the name of the episode. Not that we're going to be able to keep that in context, but are you serious? You wrote down that joke? I just made that up off the top of my head.
I mean, I didn't write it down. I thought about it as I was reading the description, because I've been trying to figure out what all the titles mean since I messed that one up.
Which one? In Quad We Trust?
No, I don't remember anymore.
They're all blurring together now.
Yeah. Anyway, the quad meets with an attorney to discuss their parental rights. Taya struggles to rekindle the romance on a date night with Tyler, and Alysia becomes jealous when boundaries are crossed.
If this is Taya struggling in intimacy, I think that's a bit of a stretch to see she's struggling.
Okay, for a brief moment and her doctor's orders.
For a moment. Un moment. And that was it. We got over it pretty quick.
We have a lot to catch you guys up on because we haven't talked at all, really, about the allegations that have been made against Sean, at least not in depth. And I think they're relevant to this episode since he has suddenly become so paranoid about the kids being taken away from him.
That ends up being his primary initial thought of, if something goes wrong with the quad, they'll try to take the kids away from me. And he keeps going to that as a scenario, like it's been done to him multiple times.
That would be because it has.
Because it has.
It has. He has had 2 exes who filed emergency custody of their children. There are other really dark things that have been alleged as well about Sean's interactions with minors that have been supposedly investigated by the state of Oregon. But I don't want Taya to try to serve me a fake cease and desist, so...
We'll keep it to the facts because, yeah, you can't get sued for defamation if it's true. Slander is spoken. In print, it's libel.
All right. We begin this episode, though, at like a local meet Santa night. What was this?
Is this Tradwife stuff? The family traditions?
What are you talking about? Your brain is stuck in Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
It is. It really is. But I don't know.
No one made any sourdough here.
Yeah, that was my starter, you bitch. But anytime there's like a push for family tradition stuff, I don't know why I've associated that with Tradwife now. Any of these weird things of like, oh, we always go and take photos with Santa.
People can't have family traditions.
I guess not. Yeah, it weirds me out. Okay. No, they can do that. I don't really have an interest in it.
I was more horrified by the fact that the adults took pictures with Santa without the kids in them. Is that something that people do?
Well, the kids were there too. I know,
and they were like, "We got a picture of you. Now get out of here."
In most of them, they were involved.
Just Mommy and Sean.
Yeah, that got weird. I just kept thinking about Maisie's photo with Santa when she has her paw on his belt buckle.
She loves to pose. She was voguing.
She gets comfy real quick. How long do you think it took them to take photos? Because they
took this place over.
Probably like 85 different variations of the portraits that they were taking of who was in them and in what quantities. Because for being one big family, we did a lot of solos and couples stuff that we broke off into.
It was getting very Sister Wives commitment celebration photography sesh, wasn't it?
Look down the lens.
The whole family. And then we got to break into our pods. They're going to have to take pictures with all the kids because Sean doesn't know which ones are his and which ones aren't. Except for Raina. And what's the other one? Does anyone know the older son's name? Matthew. That's not it. That's what I'm calling him. He doesn't talk.
Leonard.
He's not getting a lot of screen time. Unlike Braxton and Hicks, who are featured quite extensively.
Man, I can't tell them apart, but the one that I do know looks like a Chucky doll, but without red hair.
I don't think we should be talking about the kids that way.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is that generally frowned upon? He was freaking me out. Well, they just kept giving him donuts, and I was like, all right, as long as that keeps him like pacified, you keep
For
doing
now.
that. Yeah.
Give him 20 minutes. That blood sugar spike.
That's not going to be my problem.
You're not taking him home?
Nope. I mean, like, for me, I don't have to see the kid with a tantrum. I think they'll be done filming by then. There's no way they got in and out of this place in 20 minutes, though, taking photos. This was easily a 2-hour event.
Tyler was talking up whoever this rando he found was. Was that a friend or just someone they came across? I think it was someone he didn't know because he was trying to explain their dynamic of why they were taking so much time to take all of these photographs and the fact that they're a closed quad.
Why did we have to get this guy's take? Didn't really matter. Doesn't matter. Why was he confused by this relationship structure when we've been told repeatedly that it's not uncommon for a lot of people in that area where they live to be in quad relationships, poly relationships? This is like unheard of for this guy. He can't wrap his mind around it.
That was pretty much everything that happened at the Little Santa event, right?
Did Sean say anything stupid? Because there were a couple points that I do remember Sean said some stupid stuff.
He wants as much right to the kids as Tyler and Alysia have. Like, even the ones that he has no bio relation to.
It's getting weird, bro. It's getting weird to fixate on it in this way.
I think he really has been talking about this nonstop, and that's what's driving Taya to be Googling solutions. Because she has learned about this thing called third-party adoption in the state of Oregon, and they decide they're going to go to an attorney to talk about it.
So they roll up. Alicia's got her jug. She had it at the photo op too, so it's making the rounds this episode again, driving me nuts. And basically they find out, what parental rights do you have? Good news, you have no parental rights.
Well, except for the parents that are on the birth certificate.
Yeah,
they do. But
obviously.
All the rest of you, you're expendable.
The rest. Well, yeah, and it's like, unless one of the other parents, you can only have 2 established parents legally. So unless somebody wants to give up a parental right, so then that way you can swap them out with one of the other members, but then that doesn't help go equal across 4 members.
So the way that Taya interpreted what she read was that they would be able to add a third person to the birth certificate so that it would be like Taya, Sean, Tyler. And that's not the case.
Doesn't sound like it.
No.
Doesn't sound
Someone's
like
got to give up all their rights, which I do think Sean would be comfortable with having Tyler do, but just seems like a lot to ask.
Well, and then at that point, too, if you're Tyler, I'd be like, no, because then that's not what we were talking about. Because now you're removing my parental rights. So that's weird.
This is what's starting to worry me, that it seems like the only solution here is for Tyler to be eliminated, if you will. He can't just voluntarily leave the relationship and be out on the streets with those kids' birth certificates. We have to have the daddy position open up on these birth certificates now, if you know what I'm saying.
I don't like what you're saying. I don't like the way it sounds. Doesn't sound good.
Given what we've learned about Sean, I'm thinking maybe it has crossed his mind. Gonna cut some brake lines.
He's willing to explore all of his options. I don't like where this is
going. Now that he
going.
knows there's no legal route.
We got to start looking into
creative solutions.
Creative solutions, yeah. Alternatives to legal solutions.
Did Alysia not understand what the attorney said? Because she's continuing to push this idea that, well, really, forget even just 3. We want 4, all 4 parents to have parental rights. So what if we took this to a judge anyway?
Yeah, they're not going to like that. There's no legal precedent. There's no ruling that's ever been granted that establishes parental rights for 4 individuals over a child. So good luck with that. It most likely would land in appeals. That's a whole other route that you'd have to go. And then basically you're talking about changing laws. And so then they all kind of realized this sounds like a whole lot of work. That sounds like a whole bunch of extra steps that we would have to go through here to try to make this happen. I don't even know if I'm going to want to be a parent in 8 months for most of these kids.
3 out of the 4 of them, because Alysia is still talking about the fact that she's going to run for a seat in the state Senate. She's going to start drafting a bill in ChatGPT. She's going to start a quad lobby because her biggest fear is that the kids would go to one of her blood-related relatives rather than the kids going to Taya and Sean. If something was to tragically happen to both Alysia and Tyler at the same time. Like if Alysia got in the car not knowing Sean's plan.
And whoopsie doopsie.
And they both descended down the driveway together.
You weren't supposed to be driving the Fiesta today. I thought Tyler was driving it.
It would take a little accident in that little car with those very large people.
It doesn't take much. Yeah, you get the momentum going. Objects in motion tend to stay in motion.
I could not when I saw how tall Tyler was in comparison to the door frames in the Airbnb this episode. I thought it was like a little Hobbit-themed cottage.
No, it wasn't. Not at all. But you're skipping ahead. You've missed the most important part of how we got to date night. You got to have dates.
You mean paper, rock, scissors?
Or rock, paper, scissors.
Have you ever heard anyone say paper, rock, scissors?
No, but I did see Taya perked up when she started hearing scissors. She was like, who am I scissoring? What? What's happening? Are we going in order? Or...
She's going to call her friend Lex again.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's been a nice long distance friendship that's maybe going to evolve into something else. We're laying some groundwork.
Thank God they're separated by 12 hours because I think Taya would break open the quad.
She's just looking for a reason at this point. But she has to reassure us that, no, just friends only.
I don't believe it. I kind of think she's trying to hook up with her.
She's working on
She was
something.
complimenting the plig lashes.
And that's how you know. She's down to clown.
How tragic that these two women live 12 hours apart and they both are being wronged by their lash techs in this way. I don't even think they're getting them done by lash technicians. They're getting them done at the nail salon.
Oh, okay. Not their specialty. It's just a sort of an add-on at that point. But no, that's not the scissoring that's happening.
Oh, no, the dates.
Paper, rock, scissors, or rock, paper, scissors. Is that just a mental curveball that you're throwing your opponent by calling it paper, rock, scissors, because then they're expecting rock, paper, scissors?
I don't think Tyler thinks that much.
It's the mind games that are happening here.
There's an empty void. All he's thinking about is fucking Taya.
That's it. That's what it comes down to. So they've landed on an elegant solution where they're all new parents together now because they have a newborn in the house. Taya just gave birth, but they're all dealing with
the rearing of a...
whoa, careful. There's allegations. Hold on, careful. There's allegations swirling around. We don't want to get anything mixed in, okay? They're all responsible for this little child. But you got to have dates. So they're determining who gets to go on the date, and then between the guys are going to paper, rock, scissors, and then whoever wins from that then picks the name out of the hat for who the date is going to be with of the wives.
Yes, and I think that was a better solution than the one originally suggested, which was just pick whoever you want to go on a date more with.
That's going to open it up to a whole other set of issues here, so we have to leave this to chance.
Alysia knew nobody wanted to go on a date with her.
She knew that this was a pretty slim chance that she had here, but at least it's 50-50. That's better odds than having one of them pick who they were going to go on a date with.
The way my jaw stayed perfectly in place when Tyler picked Taya's name out of there. I think she put her name in twice.
Yeah, did Alysia actually write out on a slip of paper what her name was? And same thing, too, with Sean being an instant sore loser where he was trying to go best 2 out of 3, even though they didn't establish that. So he let it roll.
You see, it was so clear that nobody wanted to be the one stuck with Alysia.
Well, nobody wants to be at home with the baby. They want to be off banging on date night. That's the goal.
Not just date night, but overnight.
That's what it turns into. Was that the plan? Was that established as far as what it was?
No, it was just going to be a date night, and they were picking for who was going to go first on their date.
Because the kicker is, if Tyler had pulled Alicia's name out of there, do you think we would have ended up on the same date?
No, they would have swung by the Arby's drive-thru, and it would have been done in, 45 minutes.
It would have been something close to home that we could get back to very quickly as needed.
I am not understanding what Alysia is getting out of this entire relationship.
Well, this feels like family. Rejection feels like family for Alysia. Unfortunately.
That's sadly a true read.
That's what's happening. They established that yet again this episode where her relationship with her dad is very strained. He does not approve of these additional partners that are involved in this relationship dynamic.
That's another deficiency that I feel like she think she has in comparison to Taya, because Taya's family is so welcoming and they seem to spend a lot of time with them. And then her family is like off limits.
Not safe.
No. Not safe, not welcoming, not happy about the quad. Maybe that's because even Alysia is getting the vibe that Tyler and Taya are more in love with each other than perhaps Tyler is with her. And that is evidenced by the very romantic date that he plans, where they're going to stay overnight at the coast at the beach.
Was this a romantic date? This overnight trip that they took? They kept saying coastal. They kept going coastal, but it was nighttime when they got there. Did they stay there the next day? Because then they got home and it was the afternoon or evening. So did we like...
He just needed an empty house and a surface to prop up against.
A new headboard to splatter into.
I felt bad for Taya on the ride there because Tyler is being very obvious about what his hope is for the date tonight. And it's not just that they're going to spend quality time together.
He's trying to get it in.
Trying to break the seal, if you will. Because she just got cleared by the doctor to have sex after having had her C-section. Like, he marked on the calendar 8 weeks. And this date is 8 weeks and 1 day.
It's date night. Been planning it for months.
She really looked like there was like an impending doom.
Well, in a Secret Lives of Mormon Wives quote question, has your coochie healed? Are we okay?
She said the doctor said she was all good.
Yeah, the doctor says you're all good, but are you all good? Are you ready for this?
And it doesn't look like she wants to have sex tonight.
It seems like this is something that she's kind of stressing about. And then when they get there, they arrive at this rental, which I hope they charged adequately for the cleaning fees. But Tyler wastes little time making his intentions known because he sprinkles rose petals onto the bed and guides Taya in blindfolded into the bedroom, and then reveals just a whole accoutrement of body paints and things to slather her in.
The body paints in an Airbnb?
Edible body paints all over those sheets.
There's no way they got their deposit back.
I hope not.
This
honestly,
is why cleaning deposits on Airbnbs are so much.
Skyrocketed.
It's people like this.
You got to read the fine print. No parties, no sex jellies, okay?
Especially anything with a food dye in it.
Yeah, that's not going to work for me. I can't bleach these sheets. But then Tyler's also simultaneously trying to pull the nice guy card where, well, I mean, if you're not ready for this, then that's okay too. But like, I was really looking forward to this. So there is kind of like a layer of guilt because Taya freaks out and just retreats to the bathroom for a minute, to which Tyler is then just pawing at the door and constantly asking her questions through the door while she's kind of struggling with this. And then he goes in and talks to her a little bit more. It seems like she's struggling. Yes.
I think the body paint sent her over the edge.
I don't think she's ready for that. I don't think she's feeling like she's in the right headspace for this experience. If that was something that you talked about trying before she had a baby and a C-section recently, big medical stuff that's been going on.
Also, did the doctor say that stuff's okay to get near the incision?
Are we still cleaning I don't know.
I feel like that's a risk that maybe you just shouldn't take.
There's some gambles that you don't need, to go out of your way to find out what the chances are on those types of scenarios.
She did talk about how she's not really feeling comfortable in her body again yet. And then he wants to use edible body paints. It was a little insensitive for the place that she is currently at emotionally.
A little insensitive is quite a bit of grace here.
Maybe you just have like a little vanilla sex the first time back.
Maybe you just enjoy a night's sleep and play some Scrabble. If she's not ready, then why are you pressuring? Because that is pressuring.
Oh, well, but now he's not.
Of course, he's saying that he's not.
The body paint's ready to go. The rose petals are on the bed, but no pressure.
Oops, the cap came off. I squeezed a little bit out, but I could probably put it back in there.
It was like rock hard the minute they walked through the front door of that place,
Since they got in the car. They got in the car, and he was raring to go. He's flooring it. You couldn't tell he was flooring it, though. It's a Ford Fiesta, so it was just kind of doing its best.
Topped out at 45 miles an hour.
Yeah, on the highway.
Maybe that's why it took them so long to return back home. It's sometime the next day, maybe late afternoon.
Yeah, is it still sunlight out? Is it still daytime?
There's no way to tell, but Sean and Alysia are so thankful to see that they're back. Sean just shoves that baby right over at Taya.
Here you go.
I think this is yours. The two of yours.
It's not mine.
He's not mine.
Yeah,
you
definitely.
guys made sure to tell me that.
Definitely not mine. Well, and then also the guilting, too, because this was hard for Taya. This was her first time postpartum leaving for a night and not being near her child, her newborn child. And Sean hands him back to her and then says, oh, he's mad at you. He's upset with you because she was gone.
That pissed me off.
The first thing he said.
So much. Because like you said, a lot of new moms, and she expressed this, she's feeling bad for having left. Like she already is having an internal struggle with having been gone for a night. And then that's the first thing you say when she comes back?
So I didn't like that.
No, he is a shitty person.
Didn't like that.
Every single episode, he has said something that has revealed what I believe are his true colors. We kind of skipped over the part where they ate marshmallows. I think we shouldn't.
Oh.
I forgot that.
Oh, yeah, because that was Tyler and Taya's alternative to sex was just...
The chubby bunny. Is
What?
that what it's called?
I don't know. I must have missed that part where they named it. I didn't know that they named this move.
It's like a YouTube challenge. Don't you remember when Amy and Tammy did this?
No, I don't. I remember when...
Try being my size,
I remember
Amy.
when she spit protein shake all over her. I remember that. They didn't do that here. Tyler was shooting a different protein all over her.
He is so excited to come home and tell them that they fucked.
Why was this immediate conversation that took place in the kitchen, especially when Alicia's made it clear she doesn't like having that open discussion about the guys talking about their sexual exploits with Taya? It makes her feel insecure. And then here we are in the kitchen just bringing it right up.
The body paints and all.
The body paints. They didn't talk about explicitly the bangings, because I'm sure there was more than one. But even just mentioning the body paints and stuff, yeah, like we didn't need to go into edible body paint as foreplay.
TMI.
That's already leaving very little to the imagination.
And then they all try to gaslight her about it too.
Yeah, because Sean has to keep telling her, well, I don't really care if we talk about it. That's fine.
Yeah, we need Alysia to start showing up with receipts because you really seem to fucking care about this kid's blood type.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying we shouldn't talk about it because you're not comfortable talking about it, Sean. I'm saying we shouldn't be talking about it because it makes me uncomfortable. Same reason why we're not talking about paternity results right now, because I know that makes you uncomfortable. Maybe we should talk about that. You want to bring that up?
You would go postal.
Pretty much. I mean, yeah. But at that point, I would be so upset. If I was
This is
Alysia.
a reoccurring problem.
Yeah, if I were Alysia and I'd made this abundantly clear, and then there's 3 other people that are just ignoring that and not considering me at all, that's horrible.
I don't like that they're bulldozing her on this. In the preview for the next episode, Sean attempts to bulldoze her on her hopes to somehow reconcile with her dad. And then I also kind of feel like Taya harping on the fact that she wants a relationship with a woman feels like also not really being happy about the boundary that Alysia has, where she's not interested in that, but this is a closed quad. So now Taya can't get all her needs met within this closed quad because that's not something that Alysia is comfortable with.
There's like executive decisions that are made in the moment where it seems like, oh, it's 3 against 1, so we're okay talking about this. All right. The reason wasn't just, I don't like this conversation. It's, this generally makes me uncomfortable and it hurts my relationship dynamic with the rest of you. Can we have common respect and decency amongst us?
No.
As part of this? No, It doesn't seem like that's one of the options here.
My money's on her being the one that leaves.
It's either that or, I mean, Alysia she's just doormat mode. So like if she has just been that speed for this long, can she just keep it going like that? Is she just bottling everything up? Is she stuffing everything down and it's not even registering that this is bothering her that much. I think if she took a minute to kind of think about it and make some comparisons, I think she would find a couple of different illuminating realizations here throughout her history of relationships, familial relationships specifically, and now the romantic relationships that she's found herself involved in.
Maybe we'll get a better idea of where she's at next week, because Sean is going to get his vasectomy checked up on and might have to cancel his appointment because he couldn't keep his hands off Taya earlier in the day. Nobody wants to sleep with Alysia. Everyone is banging Taya.
Well, again, if this is Taya insecure and struggling, and she's banged both of these dudes the day that she was cleared, medically cleared for activities.
I'm not blaming this on her.
No,
I think that there was no way
I'm not
that
blaming.
she could have sex with Tyler and not immediately have sex with Sean when she came home.
That becomes an issue. Yes, that becomes an issue.
And I think that's a Sean issue, not a Taya issue.
Yeah, no. And what I'm getting at is, if this is Taya feeling insecure, not sexy, the opposite of, this is like the lowest her libido has been in confidence level, and she's not feeling secure, she's not feeling in her power, I suppose. Yeah. Well, how else
stand in your power, girl.
Stand in your power, Taya.
There's certainly a lot going on.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how to quantify what her like peak max would look like. If this is her at her lowest, I don't know what that looks like. So that's probably why Alicia's like, we shouldn't talk about this anymore.
Couple of quick announcements before we go. Check out our other podcast, Surviving Sister Wives. We just dropped the first episode of season 2 of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. There's a recap over there for you to check out.
That was one of our Let's Talk About It episodes on the Patreon this month, but the content over on Sister Wives has been a little heavy, so we needed to break some of that up over there, but that's out now, so make sure you check that out.
We're also wrapping up our recaps of Gypsy Rose Life After Lockup. We're coming up on the season finale here. I think that's dropping today.
Is it the last one?
It's the last one.
This is the finale.
Gypsy. That's why Gypsy went on her social media detox. Because I don't think the last episode's going to be very favorable to her.
I thought it was just to coincide with she didn't want Ken to see some of those clips flying around of the text message exchanges between her and Ryan.
A lot of drama going on with Gypsy Rose, Blanchard, Anderson, Urker to be.
It's not getting any simpler.
Thanks for listening. See you next time.